Actually, that I feel is a great question for me.
I make videos on the internet, and it's stupid as hell.
I'm horrible at it. I can't do it.
You can do it if you really want to do it. As long as it's legal.
And even if it's not.
It's people who are afraid to do something and look stupid. Who look stupid.
I wasn't expecting that question to feel like that. I don't like that.
Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. It has been a long time. I know it has. I have been dealing with a lot of personal life stuff. I figured I gotta take care of myself before I start making things for other people, but I'm starting to pull it together. So we're about ready to start putting more content out. So if you guys like what you see, if you like anything that I've been up to, please consider supporting the Patreon. It's been a long year. Now is the most important time to help out if you're thinking about it. But regardless, any sort of appreciation means the entire world to me. Tweets, just even watching the video, silently liking a thing, that always means a lot. This is something I have been sitting on for a very long time, and while we wait for the next episode of Cheer Up with Illymation to come out, I figured it would be cool to share this with you. At the beginning of the year, I got reached out to by a really cool cat named Sean Dillon. He was emailing me asking if I could ask the Sugar Pine Boys some questions he had worked out for his class, and I thought the questions were so good that I wanted to sit down with a few of my other YouTube friends and pick their brains. So you're gonna hear from Michael Reeves, William Osman, Gus Johnson, Sven Johnson, Mike Falzone, and of course the Sugar Pine Boys pre-Fallout, so some of the answers are kind of fun now in retrospect. But all that said, I appreciate you joining us today, and I hope you like the Sean Dillon Questionnaire. Take it away, everybody and me.
Hey, Sean.
Sean!
Little Shawnee.
Hey, what's up?
Little tiny baby Shawnee. So,
What does he look like?
Well, he's
A ferret.
I'm Gus Johnson. I'm a YouTube creator.
I'm Michael Reeves. I make science-y videos on the internet about technology. They got some like comedy, funny stuff. I just make videos on the internet. It's pretty stupid.
I'm William Osman, and I make videos on the internet relating to science.
Prove it.
I don't want to say science videos. Prove it? I can't prove it.
That's right. You can't trust me.
I can't.
Sven Johnson is my name.
What do you do?
I make dumb, funny videos on the internet. Mostly dumb. Somewhat funny. Entertainment.
We're flattered that you wanted to ask us any questions thinking that we knew anything about anything, so we'll do our best to answer them. Question 1, career-wise. When you were 18, did you know what you wanted to do or what steps you needed to take in order to accomplish those goals?
No.
I kind of did. I knew I wanted to do the entertainment industry, like music and acting and stuff. But when you're 18, you don't know. You just kind of think.
Yeah, like I knew, exactly. I knew what I wanted to do for the sake of what I wanted to enjoy doing and what my interests were, like film and acting and stuff like that. I didn't know what actually to do in order to achieve those goals, but going to college, studying film there, being surrounded by people that were like-minded and had similar goals helped to like narrow that path and see, okay, these are some ways to do this, but it wasn't anything like what we're doing now. Like I never thought like, I know, I'll randomly meet a guy and do a YouTube channel and have fun doing that. No, things kind of just happen. You have to be able to roll with the punches and like let life kind of guide you in whatever way it's going while still having certain goals and knowing kind of at least somewhat when to take an opportunity when it comes and being okay with making mistakes or not making the right choice and stuff like that, because eventually you'll end up where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say that same thing?
Yeah.
Dude,
Word for word.
That's exactly what Steve was going to say, word for word.
I kind of felt that, which is weird.
Sorry, one of my wisdom tooths poking out.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus, man.
I didn't know any of that stuff. I went out of high school and I knew that I kind of could do stuff with cameras because my grandpa had a camera and I played around with it. I toured one college and then I just went to that college because I was afraid of going elsewhere and I didn't want to tour any other colleges. I went in undeclared and I just guessed my way through a whole lot of stuff and I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely.
I don't know. I never had many plans for what to do out of like high school or like what I do for the next semester of high school or like the next day in high school. So I didn't have a lot of plans to begin with. So you start low. You you can do some good, you surprise yourself if you have zero expectations. It's great.
Yeah, I consider myself pretty lucky. I always wanted to be some form of scientist and then specifically engineer, kind of building things and making stuff. I wish school would have kind of given me more of a boost to really help solidify that, because it was entirely like self-driven. So I think I was very lucky in the fact that I didn't have to like flop around or flounder to try and find what I wanted to do in life. That's an intimidating question in general, right? Like, what do you want to do with your life? And
all
it's
of
like,
these are very big.
yeah, like I don't know, and so I felt kind of bad. I'm like, well, like I want to do this, and I was like very confident I wanted to do it.
So I am 18. I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know what.
Oh no.
I guess we'll find out.
You're 18?
I'm 18 years old.
Is this what you want to do? Is like this is what you have?
Oh, I would love to. See, like, yeah, I would love to work a job somewhere in the online entertainment field, or just entertainment in general. I don't know yet, but I'm not scared about not exactly knowing what I want to do with my life. So I feel like that's the best you can be. A little bit ambitious and not scared.
Oh man, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know anything about the steps. Or, yeah. I made a lot of mistakes between then and now. How short do you want these to be?
It's up to you.
I had to learn the hard way about, like, I never really had like a mentor or anything in the entertainment world. So I had to learn what the difference between working harder and working smarter. I had to learn that the hard way for sure. And I wasted a lot of time and a lot of gas working harder rather than working smarter.
You know, the short answer to this question is no. I think at 18 I was extraordinarily aimless, just kind of following the path that I had taken my entire life, which came from a lot of different places. My parents really wanted me and my sisters to have a lot of joy in our lives and to be comfortable and happy, especially because my mom was raised in an environment that wasn't really safe, wasn't really encouraging, and didn't really care about her happiness. And so she really wanted us to be able to take hold of that when we had the opportunity. So that's a huge gift, I think, that my parents were so intent on letting me and my sisters enjoy stuff in the moment. But the unfortunate side effect, I think, is that it didn't really give me an overarching goal for my life. I didn't really have anything that I wanted to be or do as a kid other than just kind of hang out and play video games and just feel comfortable in the moment. And recently, to expand on all that, I also found out 2 years ago that I have ADHD, which is a neurological disorder that kind of splits your brain in half. You know, you have the part of your brain that understands and knows things, and then there's the part of your brain that takes that knowing and puts it into action and does things. And so doing things is hard for me even when I want to do them. So to build a habit of just being in pursuit of comfort and being idle, the ambition really wasn't the thing that my brain focused on most of the time. So even when I'm really extraordinarily interested in things, it's very hard for me to put myself into action. So that's, yeah, so at 18, I wasn't really sure about even the concept of tomorrow. I couldn't perceive of it. So it was a very serendipitous thing that I eventually found performing as a job, because it was something that I was doing for fun for the most part. And yeah, I think that I was just truthfully, maybe that did give me the thing that I needed to pursue, because I was just kind of looking for short-term fun, and acting was fun for me, performing was fun for me, doing musical theater was really, really great part of my life at that time. So I just kind of harped on that and just kept doing the thing that was fun. I really wasn't thinking about it as a career until it suddenly became one. So I guess in a lot of ways, maybe I did. I just wasn't conscious of the fact that that's what I wanted to do, and that I was already in pursuit of the steps that I needed to take in order to make that a job. it just really boils down to doing it, and that's what I was up to. So I mean, I got very lucky happening upon the thing that I wanted to do, which was tell stories.
Question 2. Did you always have the support of your family and friends? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there's always kind of no, you need to do something that's secure. But it's like, nothing's actually secure. Just because you get a job with a salary, in whatever career, that could go away at any point.
I did the safe path while doing the risky path, just to have a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was doing my community college, and then on the side I'd be, reading screenplays in class, and then working on little stories and animations and stuff on the side and YouTube, and then that turned into something, and then I was able to leave the safe stuff behind.
Yeah, I always had my parents' love and support with everything I wanted to do, and that definitely helps a lot. But if you want it bad enough, you'll just do it anyways. And I recommend just going for your passions. You'll end up being happier.
If you're passionate about something and you can envision yourself doing it, you should definitely be your number one support, and know that if you don't have support from other people, it's not because they don't want you to achieve those goals, but it's because they're looking out for your safety and security, and that's a good and bad thing. So at the end of the day, just know that you can do it if you really want to do it, as long as it's legal.
And even if it's not.
I think for the most part I had the support of my family and friends. My parents were always really encouraging when I was younger. They took issue sometimes when I swear in videos, but that's what your parents are supposed to do. So
I don't know. It depends what you mean by support. When I was learning how to program computers, I was kind of taking time away from my classes in high school to learn to do it. So they weren't too thrilled about that. I was already doing really bad in the classes, so it didn't really matter. But they were concerned about that, and I kept telling them, guys, this is a good thing. I want to learn it. They even brought me into the counselor's office to be stop doing this and try and focus on English. Can I swear? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, we've been making videos for a long time, and that's sort of the aspect of stuff we've done that doesn't get the very enthusiastic support. I think my grandma has said some mean things about it in the past.
What was the meanest thing your grandma said?
She...
That's one of the questions that oddly enough is very specific.
This wasn't even in terms of videos, but trying to do stuff on my own, just engineering-wise. She sent me a letter in the mail, and it was oh, you should get a job. Instead of and I was I wasn't working, but I was trying to build my own small company, building this little sensor to measure stuff in your garden, so it would tell you to water your plants. And it's she might have been right, but still at the time it was screw you, grandma.
You need a shirt that says that.
Yeah, and I think my dad is the other person who's not non-supportive, but is sort of just more just cautious, where he sort of sees something that to him doesn't make a lot of sense. And so it's well, maybe you should have a job on the side too, or at least be working towards something. Don't put all your eggs in this basket kind of thing. But in a way a dad can do it, where it maybe comes across a little bit more mean and unsupportive, but still supportive. He'd send me job applications, I think, even a year into making videos. Once we started going places though and using YouTube money, I think even Cameraman John's parents were oh, that paid for that? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been doing this for about a year, so I haven't really done anything too controversial yet that would make my family not approve of my stuff. And my friends are always yeah, dude. So yeah, I've had the luck of good support from my family and friends so far.
Yes. Always. My parents were if you're paying your own bills, as long as you can afford your own shit and you're not a loser, we'll support you and do whatever you want. So even when I was in high school, I was playing sports, I had a job, and I was a musician at the time, so my parents were always cool with that as long as I was making money and trying really hard.
Absolutely, yeah. I, once again, very lucky to have the parents that I had, because they were so excited when I started to do stuff that really truly made me happy, like performing. And again, my mother not being raised in a situation that encouraged her to be happy and to do stuff that she actually cared about. It was really exciting for her to see that I was doing stuff that was fun for me, and to watch for her. It was cool for her too. So it's something that I've always been very. I've never taken for granted how lucky I've been to have the support system around me that I've had, and in my friends, that was really a cool thing, because they could actually see if I was cut out to do it, because I was, putting it in front of them. My performances were something they could actually go watch, and it was something they could judge if it was good or not. And I remember my best friend Chase back home one day. We were walking around and talking about, it was around that time we were like, we have to figure out what we're going to do in life and stuff. And he really kind of had a heart to heart with me about, I don't think acting is gonna work out. And I remember it really broke my heart at the time. But in retrospect, the more I've thought about that, the more I'm so grateful that he did that, because it meant that he cared, and I knew that he cared, but it at the time felt like an attack sort of, but it was just him saying like, this is really tough. And it was a really good dose of reality. He's always been a good source of reality in my life, and that was I'm very grateful that he did that, because going forward, it taught me that he's the guy I can go to for the truth about whatever I'm up to. And that's the kind of friendship you want, is somebody who's going to level with you about shit.
Question 3. What was the biggest risk that you've taken in your career in order to get where you are now? Everything?
Probably school and not trying very hard, because I was working on other things, because that was a clear path. I don't know what I would have done, probably gone into business or something, but no, I didn't do well in school, especially towards the end, when I was doing YouTube on the side, and then that was a huge risk.
So it was to focus on the YouTube stuff for you.
Yeah.
My biggest risk was probably focusing on the YouTube stuff by taking an opportunity to move to Orlando in 2013 and work for my friend for like zero pay. But that's how it all blossomed, from many things as well. But that's my biggest risk, going for it.
Yeah. Mine was probably deciding to do this with you after SourceFed.
Dude, no, yours was probably working at SourceFed.
Was that? Was that a risk?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know the state.
I guess that didn't feel like a
SourceFed.
risk though, right?
Didn't for me, because it was a full-time job, and it
Yeah.
was at least in the industry somewhat, and I had no idea what SourceFed was or what like this industry was.
I just meant because of Chris.
Did you have a different opportunity after SourceFed that it then became a risk to work with Steve and sacrifice something?
Dude, I was this close to being Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
It's a good question, right?
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have one single big risk that I took to get to where I was. I think I made a series of both risks and irresponsible at the time decisions, financially and personally. I went to zero a few times, even as late as my senior year of college, flying out every weekend to visit my girlfriend or to work on projects out in LA. I really phoned it in a lot with my grades in college and had to really kind of rely on being able to talk my way out of professors coming down on me. Like, I just got myself into a lot of corners with my time management and even like my money management skills in order to kind of do what I did. So I can't even advise other people to do what I did. I just kind of rolled the dice a lot, and sometimes it worked and sometimes I just fell flat on my ass.
Probably moving from the small island I was born on to the bigger island in Hawaii with the actual like cities and shit in it. I moved there for better job opportunities. There's not great programming job opportunities on a small island like Maui. So I moved over there and I only had like $1,000 in my bank account, and I didn't realize security deposits were were a thing. So like they're like, okay, first month's rent and security deposit, give me that. It's like, okay, here's like $9.50. You're gonna have to wait a minute. And then it was like 3 days until that was up, or I would have gotten like kicked out of the apartment. And I like wasn't gonna go home after that, so I was probably gonna, I don't know, float around for a bit on the island. But I stalled for 3 days until Patreon kicked in, and Patreon was the only reason I was able to stay in that apartment on Oahu, and that was to have more space to sort of do videos. That was a little more on the side at the time, but that was for more business opportunities for software development.
So actually, that I feel is a great question for me, because we started as like the laser cutting channel, and I literally spent my like last $1,500 buying some dude's kind of half-finished laser cutter and then having to like design and build the rest of it. And I was driving home. I like drove 4 hours. I found this guy on Craigslist and drove 4 or 5 hours out and borrowed like, I think I borrowed like $1,500 from my dad, and then like the last $1,400 or whatever I had. And I sort of think back, like if I hadn't done that, because at the time I was like, why did I do this? Like this was such a bad idea. If I hadn't done that, like one kind of dumb impulse decision, probably would not have done any of the stuff that led up to this point. Wow. So yeah, like it's weird. That one little thing, right?
Risks? Oh boy. I haven't really taken many risks regarding my career. Maybe going to college. I don't know, because I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing right now at college. I'm undeclared. I don't know what my major's going to be, and it's obviously going to cost a lot of money. But to be honest, I kind of wanted to go to college just for the college experience. You know, I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to try new things, and so that's not necessarily pertinent to my YouTube career, if that's what you're talking about, is risk in terms of my YouTube career. But it's something that I want to do, and while it may kind of sidetrack me, I'm still happy to do it. So,
biggest risk of my career was probably moving out here from Connecticut. It got to the point where I felt like I was doing all that I could do from Connecticut, and you know, people were telling me that opportunities would come faster and there would be a greater abundance of them if I moved to where they were all happening, and that was right. So I always said, like, if it, you know, stopped happening, I'd probably move back, but it hasn't stopped happening, and I've just found different ways to work real hard and keep working, and I still got energy. So, you know, me and my wife who moved out here with me, we're like we had so many friends, and we both have very big, very good, supportive families. So it's so hard to move, you know, 3,000 miles away from them, especially like during the holidays and birthdays and fucking funerals you can't go back to and shit like that. And so it's always tough. Always. I miss my parents all the time. So that was probably the biggest risk, but I think it's paid off and everyone is real supportive still.
The biggest risk I've taken in my career in order to get where I am now is literally getting where I am now, like the moving from Georgia to LA. And I think that's probably one of the most common things for people, is just the move is a really huge risk. And for me, I did it a really lousy way where I just sort of like dive bombed everything back home in Georgia. And then, you know, first chance that I could afford it, I took off, you know, and I ended up floundering for a very, very, very long time because I didn't have my ducks in a row. I came out way too soon, I think, in a lot of ways. I mean, like, in the long run, I'm happy that I did what I did when I did it, because it's that whole adage of like, it made me who I am today, but truthfully, yeah. But I do think that was a really, really risky thing, to just kind of come out to a place where I had like no friends. And if the friends I did have, they were working constantly. And so I just kind of sat around and floundered for a very, very long time. It's taken me a long time to figure out how to look for positive risks and avoid the negative risks, because you're always going to lose something in pursuit of gaining something. It's just a matter of how capable you are of handling the loss and how much better it is to gain if and when that does work out. And so I've gotten lucky 100 million times in my life, but coming out here and eventually finding my footing, sticking with it, that's one of the biggest things that I think I'm really grateful to have done. Just that moving over here thing was really stupid, but I'm lucky that it eventually kind of balanced the scales and helped me out.
Question 4. What struggles or obstacles did you face while trying to get where you are now? Well, that's a little bit of a repeat of the last question there, Sean. So we're going to skip to question 5.
Little Shawnee.
Doesn't know how to structure an interview.
Ooh, don't boost him in front of his classmates, man.
Dude,
Do you think he's a popular kid or do you think he's a loser?
Dude, he's probably one of the...
He watches us.
Right there in
He's
the
a
middle
loser,
ground.
yeah.
I'm not too good at other subjects like math or like traditional science. I can kind of only do computers because I just like gunned it really hard into one thing and like tried really hard to get good at one, because I wasn't even good at computers at the start. I quit programming like 4 different times maybe, and then it's like, God, I like have no marketable skills. I can't get a job after high school. Yeah, right? And so like, it's like better do something, right? And so I like locked, I did a whole bunch of stuff to learn that. I like locked myself in a room for many months and just like straight gunned it for, and like had like tried to teach myself in school, like during other subjects that I wasn't doing great in anyway. Yeah, it took a lot of like time. I didn't have a great like personal, social life out of that anyway, but it definitely took time away from like, other relationships and like friends, and I might have missed out on some stuff, but yeah, kind of just being stupid as the answer to your question, I guess. These are really good ones. I mean, like, I don't know. Again, I don't have one singular obstacle that I had to face. A lot of the times I made obstacles for myself unknowingly. I think time management would have been incredibly beneficial for me to master early on. I haven't mastered it. It's still biting me in the butt. Yeah, just honestly, time management is so terrible. I'm horrible at it. I can't do it. Pull up. Okay.
But definitely sticking to a schedule, because like when I first started, I was like, yes, I'd like to do weekly uploads, and I make short content videos, like 30 seconds or less, so that shouldn't be hard. But it's hard. It's hard to think of a new idea that you think is good every week. Like I've had a handful of videos, multiple videos where I think them up, or I film them, or I even fully edit them, and then I say, no, this isn't good enough. I don't want to put this out there. So I don't put them out. And so because of that, my upload schedule has been kind of lacking. But I don't know. Maybe I should be less hard on myself in terms of quality. I guess that's my biggest obstacle or struggle.
I think just like trying lots of things. YouTube is kind of intimidating, and it's sort of easy now, and I think everyone in this room could probably say, yeah, like I know how to do the thing I do. But when you're first starting, you don't know how to do the thing you do, and it can be a very big challenge to have the confidence to like keep going while also trying to learn. I think one of the questions I asked a lot early on is, or one of the ideas I had in my head, is like, when do you give up? Not like in general, but when do you give up? Am I answering the question? Am I on the right track with the question?
Yeah.
When do you call it quits? Like, I want to do this thing, I'm trying to achieve the thing, and I know like it's kind of a pipe dream. It's one of the things my dad said to me, pipe dream. Thanks, Dad.
This is just like a big middle finger to your family.
I mean, he gets it now, but yeah, I think just knowing, I don't want to say when to call it quits, but just the idea of moving forwards while knowing, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing then. I still feel like we got lucky.
I guess broad strokes is I feel like when I was a teenager, I had to learn an instrument and learn how to write songs and prove myself in that arena to my peers or a booker or a manager or whoever. And then I had to do that in YouTube, and then I had to do that in stand-up comedy. And, doing one of those for your whole life is hard, and there's a lot of setbacks in every single one of those, but I've done it 3 times, and I've done okay in all those things, and so it's also the most rewarding thing. Like, it doesn't always mean that the most challenging thing has to be like the chip on your shoulder that you carry around all the time. Everything is hard all the time, but it's supposed to be, because it's also the most fun thing all the time, the most rewarding.
First of all, congratulations.
Thanks, man. That's not why I'm saying it.
No, I just don't know if you hear it enough.
No, sometimes.
It's a really big deal.
Yeah, it's
to
nice.
Make any sort of progress in entertainment, that's fucking great, man.
Yeah. It feels nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Struggles and obstacles. Oh my God. I think I am the biggest struggle and the biggest obstacle in my own life in a lot of ways. Like, aside from just the built-in stuff that I cannot control, like ADHD is, I think, sometimes used as an anecdote a lot for people who get distracted a bunch and stuff, but it really means so much more than that when you have it. It's a complete inability to process the world around you in a way that's comfortable. My brain fights me on every single thing that I do, even if I want to do it. So if I'm doing something I don't want to do, I really, really have a hard time. And there's really not a lot of resources. There's no cure. It's something you have to manage every single day, and it's not an obvious weakness because, there's nothing physically that shows like, oh, that guy is having a hard time. So people don't really kind of understand that things are hard sometimes. I have a very limited capacity for different things in my life, and that struggle to like overcome not wanting stuff in the moment because I want stuff in the long run, or because it's good for me in the long term, like the overcoming of that, that's one of the biggest things for me. So finding ways to create a functional version of myself, that's easily the biggest struggle that I've had in my life. And I'm not, I haven't made it. I haven't figured out how exactly to be the most successful version of myself, but like I'm working on it. And I think focusing on my mental health and my emotional health and my safety in my personal life and stuff, that's always been so much more substantially fulfilling and gives me the most return in my life than anything in my career or anything like that. I think focusing on, if I could give any advice for overcoming struggles, it's figure out what about you is struggling, not what about the thing you're struggling against is against you, because that's, you're going to be the biggest weight you have to pull over at the end of the day.
Dude, you're so nervous now that you're in front of a class.
I'm not nervous at all.
You seem nervous, man. You don't seem like you're
Question 5. ADD. I'm not nervous at all.
How would you define
this more now?
How would you define happiness?
God, dude, that's a lot to unpack. What? I don't know. I don't even know what happiness is, man.
From many different things, you know what I mean? You can be
I think
the
it's
poorest
you
person in the
personally.
world. Yeah, it's totally just your personal
I think that's
preference.
what this question's meaning. Like, what do you care?
Oh,
what do you
they want to
think?
specifically know.
Yeah.
Oh, for me,
Like,
it's
for
to
you, what's
be
happiness?
to have friends who care about me and I care about, to have my family that I care about, my wife, a stable job that I really like, and for things to just be like smooth and to have inspiration. I'm definitely not my happiest if I don't have like an influx of a surge of inspiration, which like comes and goes, and that contributes to, I think, a lot of people in many ways feeling seasonally depressed, when you just don't have your drive or whatever it is you're doing.
I agree with that. I agree with all those
Thanks,
things.
Daddy.
No worries. I also think
Dude,
moving
you're
around so much,
nervous
dude.
down
all those things add to your self-confidence, and you need self-confidence in order to excel, or like in any field or in any situation, you need that
So you
self-confidence.
say that self-confidence is the key to happiness?
Self-confidence, yeah.
Hmm.
I think in a way, because, and that's not to be confused with cockiness or arrogance. Confidence in what you're
Steve.
doing, confidence in the work that you're making. You're confident that this is good work that you're making, and that means being inspired and being able to like have enough of a support system, because that self-confidence doesn't only come from you. I think it's built up by things around you as well.
People validating you.
Yeah, not even just validation, just a support system to know that like I'm doing something that I feel is worthwhile and is quality, no matter what it is, and you know, to have that support in yourself and in people around you. I think that having self-confidence is a very important thing, and I try to be confident even though I'm never confident.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never happy, and I'm looking forward to figuring it out.
And that's
nice.
It's truth, man. Sometimes you're not
That was
happy.
sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
really sweet.
I think I would define happiness as being relaxed and comfortable with yourself and the people around you and the choices that you make. So if you're in a spot where you're surrounded by people that enjoy you even passively, and that you are working towards bettering yourself, then that's maybe happiness. I don't think anyone really actually knows, but
I think happiness, like a very easy description of happiness, is just some level of stability. Like having some level of stability is a good way to be happy. I don't think that's all there is to happiness. You kind of want to be fulfilled, really. Like if I'm feeling fulfilled, I usually am feeling happy. So like making things, making videos, getting positive reactions for the stuff we've done, hanging out with people, making new friends, makes me happy. It's a lot of the sort of struggles that I think would and have made me unhappy in the past are kind of gone. Like I've gotten myself out of a lot of that. Like not as much driving. Like driving is a one-way ticket to be unhappy. Like spending 2 hours, 3 hours a day on a freeway, commuting back and forth, like to work and home. So I don't know. I think happiness comes from like stability and feeling fulfilled. Shut up! Is that a good definition? I mean, I'm not claiming to know what happiness is. That's sort of what I feel makes me happy.
Happiness. Ooh, that's a tough one. Happiness is when you're doing stuff that's fulfilling to you and you feel like a better person when you've done it. Fulfilling to yourself and others. That's what happiness is to me.
I think up until recently, I had like kind of a toxic view on maybe success and happiness in general. It's like work really hard so you don't have to work anymore for like the rest of your life. And I think that was like my view on that for a while. And like, and that's stupid because you're supposed to just like keep trying it wherever you are. But it was, for some reason, that was a really toxic mindset. Like just work really hard now and then just coast for, I don't know, the rest of your life. Just be comfortable somehow. Yeah, I think recently I've adopted a more wholesome, more healthy mindset of, you know, just keep trying at what you're doing and I don't know. It's
about the journey.
It's about the journey, dude.
I guess being fulfilled and okay and comfortable in your life. Like, there's like, if you ask somebody what like, it's harder to define than like making it, or, you know, some people could just be like, if I had a TV show, I will have made it, you know, but being happy, it has a lot to do with like who you surround yourself with and how you make yourself okay, you know? I don't know. How would you define happiness? I don't know if that's a great question or a terrible question. And that's what makes it beautiful. How to define happiness? What was the first thing I said? Because that was my gut action. That was my gut instinct. So go back to the first thing I said. Being comfortable and being okay or whatever. I suppose.
This one's really hard because I mean, this is the subject of the Cheer Up series of Gray Area that I'm doing. I really don't know what happiness is yet. I'm trying my best to figure that out. And it's stuff like this, like hanging out with my friends and picking their brain, that not only helps me understand happiness as a concept more, but also how to be happy, because I really enjoy visiting with them and they make me feel comfortable and safe. And that stuff is really vital. So I guess the simple answer is safety is happiness in a lot of ways. Security in your circumstances. But there's a lot more to it than that. I'm still working on it.
That brings us to our next question. Are you happy?
No.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Generally, you have to find things to be happy about, find things to be grateful for. If you're in a tough situation, try to change your perspective just for the sake of your own sanity. Not trying to create false hope or a false image of what's going on, but change your perspective.
Just stop moving around so much,
No,
man.
dude.
He just
Answer.
keeps kicking me.
Question, answer, no.
Yeah, I think I'm generally happy, but there's always things that will make you unhappy. It's just life.
And also, a lot of happiness is the choice. Deciding to change your mindset. That's like probably 50% of it. And then the things that make you happy or not are the other 50%. Thanks, guys.
I disagree with that for sure.
Well, then you'd be wrong.
I don't think it's a choice to be happy.
You can choose to change your mindset. Absolutely.
You can choose to take certain steps to try to be happier, but you can't just choose to be happier.
You can choose to be happier. Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Absolutely, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes,
you can't be like, I want to be happy now, and then you're happy.
It's not that simple. I think it's about
changing your mindset.
Yeah, like if
not allowing yourself to be less happy, and in turn you are happier than if you were less happy because you let yourself be unhappy. They got it.
I think so, yeah. Every time I think about, every time I have a bad day making videos, which, sometimes it can happen, I'm like, what do I want to be doing instead? Do I want to work a desk job driving, an hour, 2 hours each day to another city to find a job? And it's like, no, that sucks even more. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think so. But it's like all relative, right? Like you can still have a bad day.
I'm happy, yeah. I'm happy most days right now. I'd say so.
I don't know, maybe. Sometimes. Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. I think if you try to go for happiness, you're just probably gonna be very unhappy. So just forgetting about it is maybe that's the actual definition of it, is just not thinking about this abstract concept that people keep talking about everywhere you turn, left and right. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know, and I don't think about that a lot, so maybe I'm really happy.
Sometimes. I'm stressed mostly. I am nervous and anxious a lot for things, and I feel like I often take for granted what I wish I had, a month, a year ago, stuff like that. One of my favorite quotes is remember when you wanted so badly what you have today? And I forget that every day,
Oh, I'm very happy. I got a lot. I got a wife, and I got a family, and I fucking live here. And I think about this shit all the time. I live here because of my ability to make people laugh. That's crazy. And I had good parents, have good parents. Cut that part out and just leave the have good parents. And they were always real supportive. I got a good, I got good friends, a good family. And there's always stuff that I want, always trying to get better, and always trying to work hard. Working hard makes me real happy. I'm happy for a day at a time when I get to just fucking do nothing and play video games and eat whatever the fuck I want, but that doesn't happen often, so that's a fun treat, But I was always told that you gotta work hard and you always gotta get better, and there's always something you could be doing, and that makes me happy too, being active.
I don't know if I'm happy. I think I I really judge myself a lot when it comes to appreciating things, because I feel like there's always a caveat to the good stuff, and it's really hard not to focus on those things. My therapist told me that I have a habit of doing that, where he'll specifically ask me, what's the stuff that made you happy this week, or what's the good stuff, and I will say, it was this and this, but there is this thing about it, or but in the long run this is really hard about it, whatever. And he's like, okay, try saying that with and instead of but. I'll tell you what, it's much harder to complain about stuff when you put a plus where you normally put a minus, because an and is adding, and I think the buts take away. So I'm really trying to trade those things out more often when I speak about things, because I make myself really unhappy the more I overanalyze the good things and even accidentally find the bad. So I'm trying to put more ands at the end of the things that I like.
Next question. How would you define success? I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I think success is, to me at least, the ability to be who you want to be when you want to be it. And that's not meaning that you're arrogant or rude or anything like that, but just the confidence to be yourself and be true to yourself when you want to be true to yourself. That means like not sacrificing your values or your identity for different things just because you know that it might benefit you. It's just like staying true to yourself.
I think success is something society made, and I think the real success is money, a house, a big house, a nice car, and a hot significant other. I think that's success.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I was saying.
Yeah.
Success is happiness.
True. It's very true.
If you're happy, then that's... Well, no, I guess you're right. There is like a black and white with success, for sure. I would imagine. Like, if you are succeeding in your career...
Depends on, I think,
if
what angle you want to take it. If you want to talk about
Depends on who you are, yeah.
societally or internally kind of successful.
Mine is just like doing well. If things are doing well, that's successful. It doesn't mean... And success is also a spectrum of it.
I think success is how your peers react to you. If you walk in a room and the people in there respect you, and obviously not us now, but in the past.
But us 2017.
Yeah, you remember that feeling in 2017
success.
when people really, cared about
Dude,
Sugar Pine 7?
when we won that stream and no one in there knew who we were.
Yeah.
That's success.
But imagine if they did know who we were.
I can't even.
That's actual.
That's a
yeah,
higher
dude,
level.
I can't.
I can't
a higher
even.
level of success.
I cannot even.
You can't, because I actually can't even.
I cannot even know.
I can.
I think in like a YouTube sense, because that's like what I do mainly now. If like someone like looked at me how like I looked at, because YouTube is like really, I've watched YouTube for like forever, and so like if someone looks at me like how I've looked at like other creators who I really respect, like Filthy Frank, he's pretty on the top of the charts for me. Yeah, if someone did that, yeah, I think that's a pretty good milestone for success.
Self-satisfaction in what you've accomplished.
Success to me is kind of knowing what you're doing and having an idea of what direction you're going in. Like it's a current position and like a velocity thing. Like how am I moving? Where am I moving? What is my plan? And if you kind of have an idea of how to get yourself to a place you want to be, and you're paying all your bills and you're making things happen, like I would consider that success. Like kind of back to the stability aspect of it. Like if you can, I mean, like is it like financial? Is it sort of like career-wise? I don't know. I feel like if you kind of have success in general, it's sort of a combination of both of those things. Just knowing what you're doing and having like the ability to just keep doing it.
Success is doing what makes you happy. So, doing what's fulfilling to yourself and or others, if that's what makes you happy. As long as you're doing whatever makes you happy in this life, I'd say that's successful.
I mean, I was gonna say being able to do what you want and make a job out of it, but it's like you could be successful in a job that you don't like. But it's how I define success. I don't know. When you keep working and you don't hate your life.
Success is a really interesting thing for me, and it's something that I've been trying to figure out for a long time now. I think I have been very, very fortunate in my life to have a dream of being an actor and to be in movies and TV shows and to have, you know, cool pictures taken of me on set, and, you know, I have those little dreams that have actually come true. And I've kind of accomplished in a lot of ways what I was dreaming of for a long time. So I really wrestled once I got there, because it was like, shit, what now? I'm not really as happy and fulfilled as I thought I would be, because there's so much more responsibility on top of all this stuff. You know, I was really kind of screwed up by the fact that achieving my dreams, being successful, especially in the public eye, really didn't make me feel fulfilled. So I think success is a much more personal thing than it is a financial or, you know, job thing. And it's in waves that I think I experience success. You know, when I can really sit back and appreciate, like, I'm really lucky, and I've pursued a lot of things that I failed at and still pick myself up afterwards. I think that's more success than I ever got in my career, even with all of the external stuff, you know, because the money goes away. The movie stuff, it passes. You get feedback from all over the world, and a lot of the time it's negative, and that really takes away from your personal feeling of success. So I'm really trying to figure out personally how to feel successful rather than how to do it in my job. But you know, that takes a lot of scaffolding internally that I got to build up. But you know, I'm trying, I guess. Yeah.
Would you say that you are successful?
To a certain degree.
In ways, for sure. I think that, as with any sort of actual career, especially in the entertainment industry, there's ups and downs.
Yeah.
But again, it's going back to whether or not you're happy doing what you're doing, you're fulfilled doing what you're doing, and the payoff from that. Because best case scenario, you're happy and fulfilled, and also extremely successful, making money, doing, you know, just achieving things, achieving those goals. That's like peak tier 1 success.
Yeah, it's all relative, you know? Man. Like, obviously, Sean, compared to you, I'm very successful.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree. It really, there's tiers of success, right? Like, I feel like because we're making a living doing what we want to be doing for the most part, that is success, and I'm happy. So that's, you know, that adds to the feeling of success. But there's ups and downs, and there's supposed to be ups and downs, and you just got to know that, and then ride the success train, baby, until you fail.
Mm-hmm. But build that for yourself. Like, figure out what you think success is and try to achieve that if that's something you want to do. Like, that's the thing. Like, we live in a time now where you don't have to do all these different things that maybe years ago in the past you had to do in order to be successful. There are many more opportunities and avenues to take to find your own success.
Oh, totally. Yeah, if you would have showed me where we are now compared to 2 years ago, I literally wouldn't have believed you. Like, actually. Like, this is like a dream come true. That's awesome.
Right now? Yeah. Well, in terms of YouTube, I could be more successful. I mean, I'm doing all right. And I've been very lucky to know a lot of other YouTubers. Obviously, my brother is a bigger YouTuber than I am, and he's helped me out with a lot of guidance and stuff and collaborations and stuff. So in terms of YouTube, I'm not disappointed in any way where I am right now. I mean, I'm not huge at all. So, but I'm not worried about that. I'd say in terms of YouTube, sure, I'm successful. Life, as long as you have a good outlook, then you're successful. That's what I think. Are you successful?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. I don't hate my life at all. And I feel successful. Dude, I think this is also like how hard these questions are to answer. I think is a mark of like what we do as like we're always making something and putting it on the internet, and that's done. What's next, you know? And it's hard to hear praise or good things. And that imposter syndrome thing, it's probably like the softest disease that you could have, but it's definitely real, man, for sure. Like if I'm being honest, like it always feels braggy, but a couple nights ago they put me on the marquee at the fucking at the Laugh Factory, and I remember being home working on like, you know, YouTube videos or a wedding video or wedding photography in Connecticut, and just on my breaks just watching Laugh Factory videos. I'm like, oh, if I could only be there someday. And then fucking like 6-7 years later I'm on the marquee. Like it feels like something, you know. There's always like a bunch more things to do, but I don't know, sometimes it sucks to feel weird about taking a breath and being like, oh, I've done a lot of shit, you know.
I think I just kind of answered that in my last response, but to succinctly go over it again, I guess in moments I feel successful. You know, I'm not always successful at appreciating success, but I'm working on it. I think trying has more to do with being successful than actually achieving whatever it is you feel like you need in order to be successful.
To some degree, yeah. I know that I've achieved a number of the goals that I wanted when I was even a kid, or like from a year or two ago. So to some extent I'm successful, but I think if you just settle down and just say like, I'm successful, then you stop and there's a limit to what you can do.
No. Yeah. I'd like to... I feel like I should always be trying more at this, and so I think I could try a lot harder at it, and so I'd like to get to that point.
Last question. What advice would you give to anybody attempting to achieve their goals in life? I'm going to break it down for you. 10-step plan. And if you follow these 10 steps, you will achieve your goals. Guaranteed. I'm about to start doing a seminar on this in Palos Verdes.
He's not lying.
Rule number 1, lie.
I think those are just questions you can't even ask. Like if you know when there's like a price of a really expensive car and that's coming out and they're like, how much is it? Well, if you have to ask, I think you just know, or you just do it. Just, what's that? It's the Nike slogan, man.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Reebok's on it.
I don't remember the question.
What advice would you give to anybody attempting to achieve their goals?
That worked.
Yeah. I mean, just...
Some people needed the motivation.
Yeah, just understand that, like, if you set your... Truly, it sounds cliche, if you set your mind to something and you can envision yourself doing it, chances are, if you work at it, you'll end up getting there in one way or another. Like, it might not be exactly what you imagined, but there will be ways to achieve those goals. And it all depends on what you want to do, how hard you're willing to work for it, and understanding that just because it doesn't go the way that you imagined it going, the path, doesn't mean that that's not the right path, you know? And everybody's always wanting to be there. They want to make it, right? But if you make it or you get to that, you achieve your goal, then you achieve your goal and there's nothing else. So appreciate the journey and the experience it takes to get there and everything you learn from it. Because that's where some of the most exciting...
Yeah, the end sucks. Not that I know what it is, but I mean, there's certain ends...
2012, baby.
That's not like, it's just not as exciting as the actual journey itself.
And it's about creating that adventure for yourself everywhere you're going. Like, so this is where I want to be, and that seems like a difficult thing to do, but like, man, if I was there, that'd be so cool. I would have made it or whatever, but it's like, then you make it.
I think it differs from person to person. Like, some people need to hear the motivation. Like, I'm the type of person that it really motivates me to hear people that I look up to talk about how they got started and things that helped them in their success and their journey. So it really depends, you know, like some people need to hear that and some people need to just like do it and be so fired up about it because
Do you
they
need to
want to
hear
do
it?
it. I do.
You're the best.
You're the best.
You guys are both the best.
Hey, you're the best, James.
Thanks.
James, you're the best.
Hey, we're the best.
Steve? Best.
Don't think and don't ask, just do. Don't speculate, just do. Because the best way to do better is to do bad. Just like seriously, people ask us all the time, how do I do this, how do I do that? Like just do it. Like I don't know how I'm gonna do stuff until we just start doing it. And a lot of times you start doing it and you figure out, wow, that sucked, let's do it a little differently. Like I literally cannot stress enough, like just freaking do it. Just do it!
I was waiting for it. I wanted it so bad. I needed that.
I mean, like, you know, how are you gonna learn what to not do if you don't do something poorly? I think failure is so important. Fail hard and fail a lot. Because you're failing a lot, it means you're trying a lot of new things and you're probably learning things at the same time. And if you're failing a lot and not learning things, maybe then do something like that.
Very similar to Will's. Just do stupid shit. Just like, just gun it, just do it. Just, nope. Nope. Yeah, just try. Yeah, just trying different stuff. I think doing stupid things is monumentally helpful. Doing stuff that's like only like for the purpose of being stupid. Because while I was programming a lot for like work, it was kind of taking the joy out of writing code, and that's something I did really enjoy. So I'd like do side projects, and they'd be purposefully stupid. Like I'd make like the dumbest things. Like I kind of forget some of them, but I'd make a lot of them, and just as like a break from doing my job, and like I wouldn't show them to a lot of people, and then one of them actually became the first video I did, which was the laser pointer in your eye robot thing, and that's like that was never meant to be a YouTube video. I made it for fun in my dorm because I was like tired of my boss telling me to program, and so I was like, okay, I want to point a laser in your eye. So, yeah, so I was like, oh, this will be pretty funny one day. So yeah, I did that, and then that became a YouTube video. And now I make videos on the internet, and it's stupid as hell.
Don't be afraid to start something. I don't know, this is kind of the same answer that two people before me gave, but don't be afraid to do it even if you think that you're bad at it. Because, I don't know, it's people who are afraid to do something and look stupid who look stupid because they don't have the guts to start something. It's the people who start something and then suck at it who eventually get better at it. So, I don't know, same kind of answer, but
everything I did to get here was so stupid and irresponsible. So I don't know. The one thing that I can say is that even though my goals changed and I really didn't know what I was doing a lot of the time, I always knew that I had something that I wanted so badly that even if I kept messing up or like changing my goals, I knew that I was kind of almost being blindly pulled towards whatever the next thing was. Like, I gotta do that no matter what, you know? I don't care if I go to zero, like I don't care if I can't sleep, like I gotta do that thing. I don't know. That's kind of what I did.
That's it.
Okay.
That was Gus Johnson.
That's me.
Don't fool yourself about how hard you're working. I was like a bullshitter for a long time. Like in school and stuff, I would always tell my mom and dad that I was working as hard as I could when that wasn't always the case. I just wasn't interested in what I was working on. Like, this is the best I could do right now. Which maybe was a very honest thing to do. It's the best I could do. Doesn't mean it was the best that you could do, like in general, you know? Ask for help. Ask for, you know... Don't be afraid to ask for what you want, and then once you know, don't fucking cut corners, you know? Like earning your bumps, especially as like a comedian or a musician, it's like earning your bumps fucking sucks, but it's so worth it. It makes you appreciate shit more, you know? It's mainly just work hard and don't bullshit yourself. Yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
My advice for people looking to achieve goals in general, whether it's like career or personal or whatnot, is to really understand what it is about a thing that you are in pursuit of, that you actually care about, and that you actually really, really enjoy. Because what I learned in my fortunate career of many colors is that the thing that I got at the end of a journey was rarely the thing that I actually enjoyed about it. The process of performing was the thing that I was interested in. The lifestyle and the final product of being an actor is sometimes really, really detracting from how much fun it is to actually perform. And I think what I've learned is that I really like telling stories in general. That process I really enjoy. So it's taken me a while to find that. I think if you want a career, if you want a goal, try and figure out what it is you actually really, really, truly love about it. And do you actually love doing it? Not just having the final product, but physically, emotionally processing the middle of a thing, you know? Look for that. Because the popularity contest of entertainment, the like being famous thing, it's really stupid, and it's such a cliche to talk about it like that, but it doesn't actually get you to feel better about yourself. Just from somebody who has like gotten a small 15 minutes of success in entertainment, you really don't feel better and more whole as you when other people can see you. It's yeah, I all that to say, just figure out what you like doing, not what you like to come from having done, I guess.
We just helped out little Sean.
Go Sean.
Thanks, little Sean.
Go Sean. Thank you, little Sean.
Little Shawnee.
Hope your day's like pretty good. I hope
This is having been helping you.
hope you don't get your ass beat in class.
Yeah. Seriously. I'm gonna beat his ass.
All right, cut.
Did anyone know where this kid's from?
And there you go. That was it. That was the first episode, I suppose. There's going to be more. I'm going to do this a lot more. I really, really, really love these questions. And I love sitting down with my friends and picking their brains about deep stuff. So this is really cool. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like down the road. It'll be more polished later. This was just something I worked out for what was originally one person, but it's just so cool. I figured I would push it out to you guys. So like I said, let me know what you're thinking about it. I really would appreciate if you guys check out the Patreon. This is a really good time to help out. It would mean the entire world to me. But regardless, liking, subscribing, commenting, tweeting, silently watching it, all of it just means the entire world to me. So thank you so much if you made it this far. And there's more coming. I'm finishing up this episode with Alyssa from Illymation, and I really love what we got. So yeah, stay tuned, folks. It's just gonna get better from here. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.